Apple's iPhone 15 Pro is coming in less than 3 months with perhaps the most hyped up chip ever, the A17 Bionic. And unfortunately, we have some bad news. But don't worry, there's plenty of other good news to get excited about, which I'm gonna discuss in this video, so let's jump right into the latest leaks. First of all, Apple is apparently gonna make 2 different versions of the same A17 chip, which they've never ever done before to help cut costs, and I'm gonna explain that in just a minute. But first, I've gotta talk about this quite disappointing tweet from TechRead. He's been leaking a lot of different info in terms of Apple's chips and products over the last few months, and check out this tweet. It says, "I seem to have mentioned outdated info about the M3," and he's referring to this leaked M3 chip benchmark from May 27th with some really good scores. But now he's saying the A17 and M3 are not new architectures, but rather improvements in the manufacturing process to 3 nanometer. Should we refer to it as M2 Plus instead? It's quite disappointing. So basically, when Apple redesigns a chip and brings it to a new process node, they can either do a full new architecture that's optimized for that smaller node with more transistors, or they can basically take this same architecture and just kind of translate it over to the new process node, 3 nanometer, but it's not gonna be nearly as efficient or as performant. So apparently, according to him, the new M3 and A17 chips are not gonna be as good as we thought, and especially as good as those leaked benchmarks that we got before, like this one showing the A17 chip in Geekbench 6 with a single core score of over 3,000 and multi-core of 7860. That's basically M1 chip performance in iPhone. And he says here, Apple and TSMC are king. They make the best chips together. That's a crazy score, but he's saying it's not gonna be that good, apparently. However, this is a little bit sketchy because those scores were actually pretty tame, because if we look at Geekbench 6 and the A16 Bionic chip, it's performing very well already. If we divide that new score by the A16, we get only a 20% jump in single core performance, which actually makes a lot of sense. And then doing the same thing for the multi-core, dividing that leaked score to the A16 Bionic, we get a 25% improvement. That also makes sense. I was actually expecting a lot bigger improvements. So honestly, just looking at those leaked scores, they seem to be the ones that we are getting. So maybe it could have been better before Apple decided to kind of tone it down and not do a full architecture redesign. So I'm personally hoping for the best, but let's move on to the next leak, which is this. Apple reportedly switching the technology into 2 different technologies for the same A17 Bionic chip. Apparently, Apple's been working on their original 3 nanometer node called N3B, which is supposed to be really good, customized and optimized, super efficient, but the problem is the yield is quite low. So apparently, next year when the regular iPhone 16 gets the A17 chip, that A17 is not gonna be as good. It's gonna be using the N3E, which is apparently more accessible to the other clients that TSMC have already. So it's not gonna be as good. It's gonna have fewer EUV layers and lower transistor density than N3B, resulting in efficiency trade-offs. But the process can apparently provide better performance. So it could have worse battery life, that A17 chip in the iPhone 16 model. So it's interesting that Apple is doing this to save money. And now let's move on to the next big disappointment with the EU and Apple. But first, I've got to give a shout out to our partner Casecoo for their Magic Stand case, which is the best value case you can get since it's very rugged, high quality and stylish, while also featuring magnets for all of your MagSafe accessories. But making it even better, the MagSafe ring is actually on a hinge that works as a finger grip and a stand at a variety of different angles for things like watching videos or even taking photos. So go ahead and check out the discount info and link in the description below. And here we are on Apple Track's Twitter, and he's saying that the EU may force Apple to radically redesign the iPhone by 2027. Apparently, a new mandate states that smartphone batteries must be easily removable and replaceable by the user, and obviously the iPhone does not have user replaceable batteries, basically ever. So they're trying to make a new law, and this is no joke. You can literally go onto the European Parliament website and read it for yourself. Portable batteries and appliances will be easier to replace. Designing portable batteries and appliances in such a way that consumers can themselves easily remove and replace them, and that is for the EU. This is getting crazy because the EU has been giving Apple a lot of trouble. They even warned Apple about limiting the speed of uncertified USB-C cables for iPhones, which was actually in the leaks. And they're probably the main reason why Apple is going with USB-C in the first place, because they have mandated, put into law, that all phones sold in the EU have to have USB-C by the fall of 2024. So Apple is moving forward a little bit early later this year with the iPhone 15 Pro. But Apple is going to be a little bit tricky because apparently you can only get the fastest transfer speeds with the iPhone 15 Pro models. Yes, that means that the regular iPhone 15s are going to be using the older USB 2.0 speeds, which is basically the same as Lightning. Super slow. But don't worry, there's actually some good news to talk about as well, which is gonna make a lot of you guys want to wait for these new iPhone 15 models. The first piece of good news is this from Ming-Chi Kuo just a few days ago. He says that the iPhone 15 is getting a next generation ultra wideband chip for enhanced Vision Pro headset integration. So you guys know the Vision Pro headset is coming next year, and this is gonna basically use less power. The new chip is gonna have advanced 7nm process technology from TSMC, moving on from 16nm, so it's gonna have reduced power consumption, which means they can use that ultra wideband chip a lot more often without wasting a lot of the battery life. Like right now, it's being used for location tracking, Find My, precision finding, AirDrop, and a bunch of other things. And then even better, next year with the iPhone 16, that's finally gonna support Wi-Fi 7, which is definitely something to look forward to. But for now, this year, it looks like we are expecting Wi-Fi 6E to come on the iPhone 15 models, which is actually very exciting because it's a big deal with the new 6 GHz band. And other good news, we are getting the dynamic island on all of the iPhone 15 models this year, so the notch is officially going away forever. We will never see it again. And then even better, the new dynamic island is actually gonna include a new integrated proximity sensor built right into the island itself. So likely it's gonna be more accurate and look at light and examine it a lot better than it currently does, because right now it's underneath the display. And then in even better news for the iPhone 15 Pro models, it looks like we could actually get Thunderbolt 3 port support on those models, which means insanely fast transfer speeds. I mean, insanely fast. However, TechRev did say that the iPhone 15 Pro series is gonna support USB-C 3.2 speeds, but maybe that's just support and it is gonna have Thunderbolt on top of that. Let's hope so. And then of course, a big piece of news that I recently talked about was that the 15 Pro Max model is gonna be getting a telephoto periscope camera with variable zoom. That means inside of the actual camera itself, it's gonna be able to zoom dynamically from, let's say, 3x to 5x using physical lenses, not just digital zoom, and that's gonna be a huge deal. And my favorite part that I'm really looking forward to with the new iPhone 15 Pro models is thin bezels, because apparently the 15 Pro Max is gonna have the thinnest bezels in any smartphone ever, and I can't wait to see it. So with all that said, here are my thoughts. I think this is gonna be a killer upgrade. Even if the A17 chip isn't quite as good as it could be, it's still gonna be a good upgrade, and I think the battery life is gonna be amazing alongside all of these other awesome upgrades. I can't wait for it, and if you can't wait either, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and click the circle above to subscribe for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.